What are some of your fondest memories from your experience in Romania as a coach so far?
Is to learn how to speak Romanian. Before I start answering that question, I hope he said some good things about myself before I came up here, and the rugby club Cluj. We're playing tomorrow, but you know what? That's why we're playing rugby, because it's such a great sport where you can unify as players. We meet friends, make friends, and after the game, it's a fair game. We have a barbecue together, or we have beers together and chat. Unlike other sport where people don't get together after games, but. Probably experience here in Romania. I was in 2008. I was in Dinamo, but I must say I really enjoy Timișoara, and it's the people. You know, it's been nice to learn and understand the Romanian people. Timișoara, the people is quite very accommodative to me. They support me a lot, and it makes it easier for me to work in the city of Timișoara. The whole Romania, I think, is. They probably the hospitality is probably the one thing that stands out for me.
Okay, and the next question would be: it was a long way for you to come all the way from South Africa. What was the motivation? What actually determined you? What was the final, the thing that made you take this final decision?
Yes, there was a few clubs, not only Timișoara, that asked me to come and coach again. I don't want to mention the names, but eventually I just said yes to Timișoara because I love the game, even though I had my business going at home and doing very well. And then my partner said to me, just go and have fun, because I know you love the game and you want to coach. And I came back to coach here just to see if I can make a difference to rugby, not only in Timișoara but also for the Romanian Rugby Union, in developing the players to become national players for the team. And that was probably the motivation, just to come and enjoy myself and be involved in the game, because I love rugby so much, and I felt that I have to give back to what I have achieved in life. So it's important that I not only give back in South Africa but also across the world.
Okay. So what did you know about Romania before you got here, and what did you find out about Romania while you were here? And was there a culture shock? Was there, you know, any contrast?
I didn't know anything about Romania before I came. I didn't even know where it was on the map. But yeah, the culture is very, very different to what as South Africans. And again, in South Africa, we are a very diverse country where we got black people and we got white people, we got Indian people. And I know you don't understand this, but I just have to explain this to you. And in the black people, there's also a different, like 10 other different black people cultures. And the white people, there's English, Afrikaans, and we are a very diverse country. And but the one thing that in South Africa is that we very disciplined. And that way, I mean that we're very organized in when we put like our rugby. You know, it's very organized, it's very structured. Everybody knows exactly what it has to do, when it has to do things, and how it has to do things. You know, and you can see the way our rugby teams are also playing and performing. It's also structured. People know what they have to do. And I must say, in Romania, unfortunately, you know, you never know when you're going to play or where you're going to play and what team you're going to play. And that's probably the most frustrating in Romania. But again, you know, it's part of the culture, and I have to accept that, and I have accepted that. Because if I don't, I would have struggled there. And I'm doing what the Romanian is doing in Romania.
When in Rome, do as Romans do. Yeah, and so yeah, we have a little bit of that here too. We have we are Romanians, but we also have a Hungarian population, like this guy that was in the story that they borrowed the equipment from to start the team back in the 1950s. He was a famous Hungarian coach who was coaching Hungarians and Romanians alike. And we have a lot of other populations as well, gypsies and Germans, and you know, so we are a little bit of, you know, there's some similarity between us and South Africa in that sense. Okay, in one interview I was reading, I noticed that you were saying, I want to have stadiums full of rugby fans. I want to bring Romanians to watch this sport, which they don't really know. Why is that?
In Timisoara, not in Romania, because I can only do it in Romania and in Timisoara for a start before I can look anywhere else. I mean, Dimitras, he has to look after the Romanian side and the Romania itself. I only have to look after Timisoara at this stage. Yes, I would love to see that there's more people coming to support us as Timisoara rugby team. And the way to do that is obviously to make sure, as Sorin just said early on to me, that we need to work with the juniors to make sure that they not only develop the junior players, but get the interest of the parent to bring the child to the field and ensure that they can support us at the field as well. And the best thing to do that is to educate the kid first, before they have to understand before they can go to the games. And that's probably one things we discussed already, and we're working on it. And hopefully in the next, it won't happen immediately, but probably next year, if I'm still here, things will change around for the Timisoara as well. I'm talking about support-wise, but rugby-wise, we'll definitely make a change this year.
So what we need is maybe more discipline in our management. Is that what you were saying before? And a little bit more education in terms of educating our kids to learn about the sport, to educate the parents to bring their kids to practice. And what else? How can rugby change the social ills, the social problems, and sport in general?
Rugby has always been a fair sport, and that's why we have referees and we have touch register to assist the referee. And that's why we would like to know that people must understand that rugby is a fair game. When they come to rugby, they will get fair play on the field, off the field. People can talk to each other after the game. They can interact with each other, talk to each other, socialize with each other, and that's what we want to do. You know, after the game, people mustn't just go home. There must be maybe a barbecue afterwards where people can talk about the game and get the kids. We have maybe parks for kids to play while the parents are still around there. The parent doesn't have to worry about the kids. And those are the things that we need to think of to get the people to the stadium. You said something else that I want to...
How can the sport in general change the social problems? If you notice them, and how, what suggestions?
Even, I don't know what social problems you do have here in Romania, and that's the first thing I need to find out before I can think about social interaction with people, adults especially. I don't think we have problems with kids. Kids, we always, kids can play with each other without worrying about problems or their differences. Whereas as adults, we do have, obviously, we have our own mind and we can think for ourselves. So if we have differences between each other, we take it very long to get over it, or we don't never get over it. And so we have to work with the kids first to get to that stage.
So basically, we do need to work on education and.
Sorry, this is what I wanted to forget. But he was asking me about the management needs to be more disciplined, and I think it's not discipline. I think it's just more from they need to be more assertive in their decision making, and the key thing is you must plan to be successful. You can't just play there and expect things to happen. You have to plan to make sure that things happen accordingly what you more or less expected. It might be 80% that you're going to get back. But if you only plan for 50%, you're going to get 30% back. But if you plan for 100%, you're going to get maybe 90, maybe 80%, but not less than 80%. So you've got a better chance of being more successful with plan than not planning.
And one of our problems is the people, if you can, call it that, is that we are very resigned to fate. We don't really push fate. So we don't. Maybe that's why we don't plan, or we don't, strive for success so much, and maybe that's holding us. That is holding us back a little bit. Maybe we are too modest.
It's just a cultural thing, It's that in South Africa, as I said, we're very focused. If we want to achieve something, we work towards it, and we give 100%. And no one's going to stop us. And you can ask Russi. He worked with me before, and you know, if I put my mind into something and I know it's 100% right, no one's going to stop me from doing it. And if I'm not sure about it, I'll ask around, and if I get some ideas, some arguments. Just to make an example, if I decide in the game I want to play a certain play on the left-hand side of the field, and I'm not 100% sure about it, I'll go to the players and ask them, the senior players, and if 50% or 60% of them say we're going to go left, then I'll support them. But if they still say 50-50, then I'll go my way. And that's how I work. And if I'm 100% right, I'll still go my way as well. So I give the guy, I compromise the play sometimes, but most of the time you have to be assertive of yourself and making decisions and take responsibility for whatever the result is.
So you're also talking about a little bit of self-confidence, assertiveness and self-confidence. Okay, so these are, you know, good messages from Chester for us, maybe not only in sports, but as a culture, because we feel the need to, you know, be more self-confident in that, in many different areas. And anyway, let's talk about the film and close with that. You basically triggered the event that made Clint Eastwood decide to make this movie, and he popularized this event through the movie at a global scale. What was your participation in the film, and how would you summarize your personal reaction to the film after it was made? I'm sure you have tons to speak about this, and feel free to do so.
Firstly, I was a player in the movie, I was part of the movie, and then secondly, I was asked to be one of the advisors for Clint Eastwood and his team, his management. For 3 months, I worked with him, making or shooting the movie in South Africa, and yes, it was a great experience. It was. And again, it was an honor for me to work with Clint Eastwood. You know, he's 78 years old at the time when he shot that movie. So, sorry, he was 78 years old. And yes, 78. So he's probably now already 80 something. Or 80, yeah, it's 80. And so yeah, and Morgan Freeman is yes. So Morgan Freeman is also he was also their part. He was 76 at the time. And Matt Damon. So it was nice to work with them. You know, those guys are very professional, and it was actually nice to see that how professional they are in the job. And I could almost see rugby, you know, in South Africa, that how professional we were when we play rugby. We train hard, but once we get off that field and we can party, we party hard, and that's what the sport about, you know. We work hard and we party hard, and that's exactly what Matt Damon and Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood did. Is that after hours we go out and have a few beers and drink and go back home. The next day we're up 6, 7, 5 o'clock in the morning, work again, finish the filming for the day, and then we go out again, you know. And that was so great to see that they can put the focus there 100%, and they can also just be relaxed and be themselves and be not like human beings like us. And it's so important to do that, and that's why the three of them are so successful, because they know when to work and when just to relax. The movie itself, I think, you know, it was really an honor for us as South Africans that we can that movie put us on the map as South Africans. Just before, I think that was just before the Rugby World Cup as well, Soccer World Cup, sorry. So it was great for us to have that just before the Soccer World Cup, and people wanted to not only come to the Soccer World Cup, but they wanted to see where Nelson Mandela was part of this whole Rugby World Cup setup in 1995. And I must say that this is a true reflection of what happened in our country at the time, about apartheid and our people unified through one little event of a rugby, a sport again, that unified the country the way we did. And you know, I don't think we as players realized, I can actually tell you now anyway, that we didn't realize at the time what the big impact we had on the country while we were playing the Rugby World Cup, because we were so focused in winning the Rugby World Cup, but we never knew why did we have to win that Rugby World Cup. And even when Nelson Mandela got involved, he visited us a training session, and I can tell you right now, when he came to the one session of our training session, stop. Okay. Anyway, and then he came to one of our training sessions, and he knew every single player by the name. And then he saw the tea ladies there at the back of they were making tea. And he left us there, he left there and he went to the ladies and went and greeted those ladies, shook their hands. And that's a precedent that everyone almost in the whole world, or most people in the whole world know. He was such a down-to-earth person that he could walk to a lady that makes coffee and tea and go and say hello to them, and that's great respect that they have, and that's why he has that great respect throughout the world. And and he's an amazing leader. I visited him a few times as well myself personally, and you talk to him as if he's just another friend of yours, and that's how he is, but when it comes to his politics, he's very strong and very hard on what he's doing, and that's a sign of a great man. And the film itself, is that they shot it not at all exactly at the same stadiums, but the stadiums look more or less the same like the stadiums that we played at, and what you see on the TV is amazing how they shoot the movies, that they will only be like this. 60 people that's sitting here today, or 70 people, and they only shoot these people that's sitting here. But then when they play the movies, like 80,000 people sitting there on the stadium. It's amazing. That's the way they do things, and the actor in the movie will drop kick. He can't even drop kick a ball, but you'll see the ball goes through the poles, and that's movie. That's why they call it Hollywood. And some part of the movie had to be Hollywood. Otherwise, they would have not got points for it. I don't know what you call it, points, what they call it, credits. And some parts they had to make it Hollywood, would more exaggerate some scenes in the movie. But that's the way it is, And it was just great to be part of that movie. And I wish we were still young enough to play ourselves in it, but we couldn't. We were all the players were there, but we were not good enough to play that game.
I don't think you've changed that much since then. Well, all I can say is that I hope that your experience in Romania with Timișoara, with Dinamo, maybe with Cluj, I don't know, will inspire somebody, a local Clint Eastwood or somebody, to say, oh, look at what Chester's done to the Romanian rugby. Let's make a film about how he won the Romanian championship, and maybe even more later on, who knows, because you seem to want to produce change. And change happens, and a lot of people are grateful to you for that afterwards. So hopefully it will be the same story here. Thank you very much for being with us. Thanks. I will just say in conclusion that there's a football game tomorrow at 11 a.m. and Cluj will play rugby. I'm sorry.